Hey y'all, welcome to a Mindless Morning Show special interview. Sit back and relax with your hosts, Nick and Josh.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Mindless Morning Show. We are here today with a special guest, Steve Hamm. He's a retired Army helicopter pilot. He's done modeling, he's done acting, and he's doing a lot of really cool stuff in the future as well. And we're going to try to talk about some of that. And how are you today, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. How are you guys doing?
Oh, yeah. I'm doing
fantastic.
Absolutely terrible. No,
and
doing great.
Before we start, thank you so much for your service because It's incredible what you do. I mean, first off, being a helicopter pilot is one thing. Doing that in the middle of wars, that's a whole other ball game.
Yeah. Well, you're very welcome. And yes, it is definitely something different. It's one thing to be flying around, transporting patients right now, but flying around in the desert and potentially getting shot at is definitely totally different. So,
yeah,
see,
I imagine
that's one thing I would be really my knowledge about. So my cousin was in the Marines and he did 3 tours in Iraq. But I know that one thing he would talk about was RPGs and being afraid of RPGs, and so I can only imagine I can only imagine how insane that that threat is.
Yeah, it's very insane. There's always that potential that's out there when you're doing the job, and I do have a story about it. Not that it happened to me, but it happened to a guy I was flying with, and
sure,
there was we were doing our thing, and next thing you know, you see these a quick flash of light, and you know what that means, that something's on its way. So we're bugging out as best we can, trying to avoid getting hit, of course. And we come home, and turns out he had one go through his aircraft way in the back. I mean, it was a straight shot through. You saw where the on one side where the outline of the fins were as it went out the other side of the aircraft. But you look inside there, we have what's called like a control tube, basically, and it's the control tube that as you're flying, you got some pedals down the bottom to help your directional control, and it hit the control tube to a point of where it was hanging on by like a sheer thin piece of metal, basically. And it's by sheer luck that it didn't break off and he didn't just have a horrific accident. So, it's like, dude, that was a close call, like for sure. And he's like, yeah, no kidding. And his next response was, which is typical cavalry, pilot mentality, is like, so where's the backup? Let's go. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, like kudos to you, but yeah, so it was, that was pretty intense, but I think just getting worried about the small arms fire, because we normally flew so low. I mean, we're a few hundred feet off the ground, and we got body armor and stuff to protect us, but a bullet can penetrate the smallest areas, and next thing you know, you're hit, and it's just a different ball game.
That lucky shot, man.
Yeah, unfortunately, I lost we lost a few brothers that way as well by some lucky shots that ended in tragedy. So, terrible. They died for their country. So, rest in peace to them. And
absolutely.
But it's crazy.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. So going back, how was starting all of this? Like, when did you start flying?
I started flying in the Army. I started off as a helicopter mechanic. I did that for about 8 years. And of course, when you're hanging around pilots all the time, you hear their stories, and after you fix something, you see them fly away and do their thing. It's like, it grows on you.
Oh, yeah.
So fortunately, the Army does have a pilot training program, which is open to anybody that's in. So I applied, and fortunately I got selected, and the rest is history from there.
Damn.
There wasn't anything that really led you, or even as a kid said, oh, I definitely want to follow that path, or?
I don't think so. I mean, my dad, he actually, he flew single engine planes, and he was an instructor for a while. I went up with him once. I mean, that may have given me the bug, to a point, but I really wasn't thinking about it too much. But when I was in the service and after just being around the environment, it's like, yeah, this is something I definitely want to do. And it was the best choice I ever made. The training is tough and difficult, especially with what the military throws on you, because it's, teaching you how to fly, but then you got to learn all the military tactics and stuff like that. So,
yeah.
So it's the average training time is like 9 months overall. And that's without having with just having a couple breaks in between. But some people, they get more breaks than others, whatever the circumstances. So you could be in there up to a year sometimes for training.
Wow. Jeez. Yeah. You gotta be like the best of the best to be doing that. So they really want to make sure that you know what you're doing and that you've got it all memorized and can figure all of it out. And that's,
yeah, you do have to have a lot of stuff memorized. That's for sure. It's very, how do you call it? Organized, I guess you could say, and structured and formatted, for what they got to do. So, yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's like you have a plan B, a plan C, a plan D, a plan E. You got all these, for if this happens, you know what to do next. It's good to do that, obviously.
Right. Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
So how many years have you been flying?
I've been flying since 1999. So, yeah, do the math on that. Yeah.
About 22.
Yeah.
So that's good. Have you ever done a barrel roll? Can you do a barrel roll?
In a helicopter? Do a barrel.
No, I have never done one. I can't legally do one. There's actually only one guy that in the country right now that can legally do one that the FAA allows, and he's the pilot for Red Bull, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's legally allowed to do barrel rolls and a bunch of other stuff, but legally, we can't do that.
So why is that illegal, though?
He's chugging Red Bulls while doing them, too, I'm sure.
No, it's considered an aerobatic maneuver, so we're not allowed to do aerobatic maneuvers. But since he is specifically trained for that and tested for that, he can. And there's actually YouTube videos you can watch where there's a camera inside the cockpit, watching him do it, and literally he's got like a container of Red Bull somewhere sitting in the cockpit with him, and he's not even that high off the ground. He just just goes around in circles. Wow. I'm like, wow, it's impressive. It really is.
Damn. So seeing that and having all of your experience, you're like, I'm not gonna do it. Like, I'm not gonna try it. I don't blame you.
No, there's been probably people that have tried it and it didn't turn out successful for them.
Oh my God.
You need some special training. I mean, the right, environment and stuff like that. And I'll pass.
It's not just a simple, hey, hold my beer moment. You know what I mean?
Well, it could be, but it probably wouldn't turn out very well.
So Red Bull is the only one throwing out some helicopter air shows?
That I'm aware of. There may be others, but yeah, there's for sure. He's definitely one of the few, if not the only guy that's authorized and signed off to do that stuff.
That's amazing. So what is your? I don't know how much it piqued your interest when it happened, but when Kobe Bryant died, did you have any insight on what might have happened with that helicopter or anything like that?
Well, of course, rest in peace to him and everyone else that was involved.
Of course.
The pilot world, we talked about a lot, especially in my field. And honestly, I mean, if I had been over there in that situation, I would never have taken the flight personally. The weather was definitely bad. Mm-hmm. But then again, it's like we have pilots that, are trained to fly, in adverse weather condition like that. So like myself in the company that I'm with, we take a lot of time to practice, flying in the clouds and doing, instrument procedures and stuff. So there's speculation whether or not the guy was signed off or trained or not, or proficient enough for it. Yeah. But, you just learn when you're in the, what they call the soup, you can't sit around you anymore, You just look inside all your instruments, you get yourself level, you start your climb. There's just a bunch of procedures you have to follow. And I think basically he just lost situational awareness and it obviously didn't end up well. So that's just, I think there's also a trend with those kind of flights, the VIP type flights, that you almost feel pressured into taking it because of who your client is.
I was just thinking.
Yeah. And the thing is, if you're a young pilot, you really want to fly, and you're almost willing to, take chances on certain things. But for me, it's like, look, I don't care how much money you want to throw at me. If the weather's not good and I'm not trained, I'm not going up. You can find somebody else.
Yeah, so. Exactly.
So, and that's what. Go ahead.
I was just saying, and that's the thing. You're the professional, so when you're making these decisions, you're making these decisions as a professional, and they should respect that because your life is on the line.
Yeah.
I can tell you that if I was ever interviewed for a job like that, that'd be one of the first things out of my mouth. Is like, look, if the weather's not good, I'm not going. And if you don't like it, then find another pilot that will be your yes man, because it's not going to be me. So
exactly,
and that's totally respectable. Any company that doesn't respect that, fuck them. I'm flying with them.
Right? Yeah, no kidding. And I
you got the list. we'll blur them out right now.
And I've heard that it's the same kind of situation with like people that operate those massive commercial cranes. If the weather is not right to operate those construction cranes, because there's been stories where they would fall over and people would die and buildings would collapse because they weren't supposed to be operating.
Unfortunately, in the private sector, there's a lot of pressure for business because money's the bottom line.
Yes.
And to me, it's if the company can look at safety as paramount side, next to anything else, then that's probably a company worth working for. When they care about people's safety as opposed to the bottom line being the income. I mean, because if you have people that are safe at their job and everything goes well, you're going to make money. So, and
absolutely.
If you have some bad weather days, it should have been already part of the planning process that you're going to have them. So that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I agree completely.
I don't know if I'm mistaken. I could have sworn long time
ago. Probably are.
Probably. I had seen a show that had talked about how the blades of a helicopter are so finely tuned and could even be thrown off even by like just placing a quarter, like taping a quarter to one blade. Is that true?
Well, they are, I guess, fine tuned, you could say, from the factory. Yeah. Once they're put on an aircraft, then they are what's called they're tracked and balanced. So like you put a wheel, a tire on a car, whatever else, they got to balance it out as well. So I'm not sure about the whole quarter deal on there, if it's going to throw it off. That I couldn't tell you, but I know that they've got something on they're called trim tabs, basically. They're like a little tab on the edge of the blade, and they're adjusted as necessary to make sure everything stays in line and trim, basically. So if those happen to go out, over time, then you have to adjust them. But that's the only thing really they could throw off the balance. I don't think a quarter could do that, but I could be wrong.
Yeah,
but that's just my opinion.
So like hitting a bird, like just like totally
that's what I was just thinking too.
An eagle or something.
Well,
happens.
that's a different story. Depending on the size of the bird, yeah, that's possible. I mean, if you hit a bird that hard and let's say it goes like through your windshield, or you definitely hear some weird vibration or feel weird vibration or some strange stuff, then you just need to go ahead and land as soon as you can, and get down the ground and then assess your situation and go from there.
Now, how good are the computing systems on the modern helicopters? Like, if something hits your propeller, would you get some sort of code pop up and say like, hey, something happened?
You wouldn't get a code, no. You'd feel it more or less, depending how big it was. There's been times when people have flown and landed and they see, bird feathers and guts on the blades. You don't even you didn't see it or didn't feel it. So they spin pretty fast,
Oh yeah.
So no, there's no sensors for that. But depending on the type of helicopter you fly, you can have just your basic, basic aircraft that just has your basic stuff for, what's called VFR flight. You can see around you and everything's good weather, to your more complex birds. So, I mean, mine is fully decked out. So, I can fly, in the clouds like a commercial airliner does. And, we have the instrumentation to accomplish a typical, approach to an airport if necessary.
Damn. You should duct tape a GoPro to your propeller, bro.
That'd be pretty cool, actually. Like
if it held, I don't think it would. There's no way it would hold.
It's got it.
It wouldn't hold on that. You'd have to have a camera inside your cockpit, but my company wouldn't appreciate that.
Like, you're supposed to be like saving people, dude. What are you doing up there?
So
speaking of,
we do have a camera installed as per FAA rules now. So there is video monitoring just for the flight deck, in case there's like an accident or something, they can go back, review the footage, and see what potentially happened for their investigation
like
stuff.
The airplane black box.
Okay.
Yeah. That's cool. So where are you working now? Like
I work in
LA?
No, I'm in Ohio.
Ohio. Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
And,
I live in Sandusky, and I work out of Sandusky County Airport, which is in Clyde, about 45 minutes to the west of here.
I would say that's better than LA, like by a long shot.
Yeah, I would have.
As far as what you're doing, yeah.
So how many crazy things are going on there in Ohio? Because you, if I'm not mistaken, you work for Life Flight, which basically you go and pick up people in emergency situations.
Correct. Yeah. Well, of course, everyone knows, with COVID, that's affected everything. So when that first came out, we weren't capable of transporting COVID positive patients because we had no way to protect ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
So once we came up with a solution plan for that, so now, the company bought us these, it's called the P100 mask. So it's just a mask we wear over our nose and mouth and stuff to, protect from possible, chance of infection.
Yeah.
So now we're able to transport COVID patients with that on. And fortunately, no one that I've worked with has ever contracted it once we've gotten the appropriate gear to wear and stuff. So,
that's good.
But during the peak of the crisis, though, we barely had any flights. You can go a whole hitch, which for me is like, 7 days in a row of being on work and not get a single flight because nobody was going anywhere. Everyone was stuck at home.
Exactly.
So now that things are getting better, and it's getting this springtime, summertime's around the corner, weather's getting better, people are starting to head out because they're tired of being at home, and so transports are starting to pick up a little bit.
It's like, hey, things are getting better. People are getting injured. Shit.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. So in your off time, now, one quick question. How many times have you been shot at by RPGs in Ohio?
None.
Okay.
Thankfully.
You had to think, though. You had to think, oh, shit, no.
Well, this is the Mindless podcast, right?
Yeah, he gets it. It's perfect. So in your off days, you've been kind of gravitating a little bit towards like doing acting and stuff like that. So how did that happen?
That's the $1 million question right there, right?
It's badass.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so basically about 6 months before I retired from the Army, one weekend I just had this thought come in. I'm not sure where it came from, how it came about, but I said, taking acting lessons sounds kind of cool. Maybe I should give it a try. Don't know where it came from. And so I did some internet searching, and this was when I was in Tennessee, and I found several workshop or places in the Nashville area, and I just happened just to do some research, found one. It's called the Actors Workshop, run by a guy named Alan Dysert. He used to be a full contract actor player on All My Children back in the day. So now he holds his own shop. He finds local talent. He trains them up as best he can, and then he tapes them and sends them off to bigger areas to see if anyone's interested in stuff. So I did a weekend workshop with him, and we did what's called cold reads. And for those that aren't familiar with that, you get a script you've never seen before, and you just got to act it out. So I had a scene partner on the stage, and we just acted out scenes from movies we've all seen. And it just, after doing that the whole weekend, it's like the acting bug hit me. It was like, it was exhilarating. It was just, I don't know, it was so cool to be up there to do that stuff. I said, man, I really want to do this some more. But, I was about to retire. So, of course, I had to do the whole transition out of the military, move to Ohio, find a place to live, establish myself. Once I did all that, though, then I found a agency in Cleveland who had an open call for talent. And I went there and interviewed, and they liked what I had, liked what they saw and stuff. And they offered me a chance for representation, so I took it, and the rest is history.
Hell yeah, man! I like that. I
think I know where you got it from, though. You were probably looking in the mirror like, damn, I could do this.
I could be in a damn action movie for sure.
Honestly, the more I think about this over the years, I think what happened was, I grew up as an only child, so I think I did a lot of pretending on my own, and stuff, then acting out different types of scenarios and stuff just because. And I think that's what kind of subconsciously led to probably doing this now, because obviously when you're military, you don't have a chance to do this because you're working 24/7, 7 days a week essentially. Then once 9/11 kicked off, everything changed after that. You get deployed a lot. So I think so. Once military service was done, I got this job now. It affords me the flexibility to pursue other passions. Yeah,
absolutely. It's like it was when you're in the military, you're essentially government property.
Exactly.
You are. So it's like you can't do all the extracurricular stuff. So it's really cool though that you've been able to come out of it, experiencing all the shit you've experienced, seeing all the things that you see and still see in your current line of work, and you're like, I'm gonna do acting. I think that's badass. It's like I don't know. It speaks to you being like a healthy mind. You know what I mean?
Oh, this dude's healthy. You got to see his Instagram. He's at like Planet Fitness every day. Like,
hell yeah,
oh, man.
Hey, have we followed him on Instagram yet?
Oh yeah. That's how I know. I stalk our people.
We stalk our guests.
Oh. Well, it's nice to be stalked. Thanks. Yeah, no, I work out probably. I do it 3 times a week, every other day, and then I take the weekends off. Essentially, I'm going to be 50 this year, so I can only do so much.
Holy shit!
If I try to do more, then I'm just going to hurt myself. So
for our listeners who aren't looking at this right now, he doesn't look a day over 30. And
you're too kind.
So this is why he's acting, folks. Like,
now, right?
That's incredible. And honestly, I thought you were stalking me because like an hour before the show, a helicopter was like shaking my fucking house as it flew over. So I thought that was you.
Well, that was me actually, but that's beside the point. See?
I knew it. Josh texted me and said, "Hey, I think Steve's like flying around," and I was like, "He needs to get ready for the show. Like we're starting in like 40 minutes." It's all good. You made it back okay. You went to Florida. I did. Hung out.
Yeah.
With it. Wow.
Yeah, parked the aircraft right there in my front yard for tomorrow. So
that would be pretty. Honestly, that's some next level shit. Like, all right, gonna go to work in my helicopter instead of driving.
HOA's like, this is bullshit. No, you can't do that. Like, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna move it?
He leaves at 5 a.m. It wakes us up.
Yeah, that'd be louder than a Harley for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
So I guess the real big question here is, have you ever seen a UFO while flying?
I could tell you, but then I might have to do some bad things to you as well.
That's fine. You can do me a favor, probably.
No, I've never seen one. No.
Okay.
Man,
I don't get that high.
Wouldn't have been amazing? He's like, every day in Afghanistan, I saw the same aircraft. Like, oh shit.
That would be pretty intense.
Yeah.
Well, if you're overseas and you saw something like that, that's probably some super secret government stuff going on that you probably shouldn't. If you were asking questions about, you probably be seen the next day. So.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll be sure to not ask any more of those questions. I'll be just scratching these out.
And just so you know, we don't edit any of this show at all. It's too much work.
Yeah, I hear you. God, I hear you on that.
Yeah, because you've gotten into doing some voice talent.
Yes, that is something. And let me tell you, those people that do editing and producing on audio is incredible. I can say I am a amateur voice producer engineer at this point because I went in the deep end of the pool with Adobe Audition, and that's my go-to, I have to say, and I love how it works. But man, was that a mountain to climb to learn how to work that thing. Jesus. So
yeah, I imagine. I personally don't use any Adobe tools, but I did love Isotope RX7. That one's pretty good one to use.
Voice stuff is definitely different, but I think the acting training prior to helps with doing narration and stuff like that, because you kind of get a sense for how a script is written and kind of maybe how it should be acted out per se. It's just opposed to just like reading a book,
Oh yeah.
And so you did the voice for a game character, correct? For the Warriors?
No,
that was a movie.
Well, I know I under your IMDb it has the Warriors, but it says Garrison for 2005, and I know it's a lot older than 2005.
This is the problem I run into is that unfortunately I think people look up the wrong IMDb for Steve Hamm. So it's actually Stephen P with like Stephen Peter Hamm, but Stephen P Hamm. That's the actual IMDb. Yeah.
Okay, Josh, you should have known that, dude. Come on.
Sorry.
It's a common mistake. So yeah.
So okay, now I have to ask, what is your favorite role that you've acted in? Because now I'm assuming I read the entirely wrong IMDb.
Favorite role? Well, geez. I'd say, I guess I played, there was a movie called Common Creed, The Epidemic, which was done a couple years ago, and I played the mayor of Cleveland. That was pretty fun to do, but the most memorable for me as far as being with a bunch of like celebrities was I played a detective role, a no-line detective role in a Bruce Willis project called Acts of Violence. And the cool part about it is how that came about is that initially I auditioned, but I submitted to be like background for that movie. They were shooting it here in Cleveland, and they were looking for people to play either, paramedics, EMTs, cops, detectives, whatever the case. So I'm like, well, let me just throw in for a detective role. So I submitted. They said, yeah, sure. You got the look for it. Yeah, we'll take you. And I said, okay, great. It was to be a night scene. So I went and did it, did all the paperwork, got all dressed up, took you to set. And, all the 80s are out there and they're putting you on, on the set where they want you to make it look like it's an active crime scene because a big shootout had just happened.
Oh, shit.
So I'm standing across from this other young actress, and we're just kind of pretending we're sharing notes. And all of a sudden, the same AD that put us there says, hey, you two come with me. And we followed her up the stairs to this house on the porch. And I look at a couple of the guys on there. I'm like, wait a minute, these guys are familiar here. And one was Cole Hauser. I'm not sure if you're familiar with who he is. He's been in a bunch of movies and stuff over his career. If you look,
I'm better with faces.
Yeah. So Cole Hauser was there, and then this other guy, I forget what other name was, but he's been in a bunch of TV shows as well. And come to find out, long story short, basically the director had decided to change the script a little bit and have us detectives actually escort these guys out of the house, in supposed cuffs, because they were under arrest for what they did. They were in a shootout, which they shouldn't have been in because they were trying to avenge what happened to their sister or their friend, something like that.
Oh, shit.
So, yeah. And so I get the privilege of escorting Cole Hauser out of the front door. And, this is like, kind of big budget movie stuff. So you come walking out and there's like a drone sitting up high with its camera on. There's two more camera guys on the front porch, and they're just filming us coming out the door and stuff. And I've got this stoic look on my face like, yeah, I got you, sucker, Yeah. And just walking him down the stairs, and he does his thing and that's it. And I didn't say anything to anybody about it because I'm like, well, if I'm in the scene, they're probably going to shield me and just show him only, whatever else. But a friend of mine who's a director out there, she was watching and she texts me, she goes, hey, is this you? And she shows me some footage, and sure enough, there it is, right there on the screen. I'm walking down with him. I get like 10 seconds or less maybe of some screen time. I'm like, money. I said, I can post this now. Yeah. So yeah, that was my most memorable, but playing the mayor was nice too. Cause when you have speaking lines, then it's always better.
Oh yeah, of course. Man.
So you never played a court officer in Maisel? Damn.
No.
I got all excited to talk about that. I love that show.
I know.
That's the thing, though.
I'm going to go to IMDb and write some complaints now. They fucked up our episode.
So, that's the thing, though. I got to say, before we went on air, there's some things that Steve can't even tell us. So it's not like he's done. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's things that are happening that we not necessarily can know about. So it's not like he's just, in a few things and that's it. I mean, this is just going to grow and grow from here on out, which is exciting.
Well, one can hope. Yeah. I keep my fingers crossed. I'm always, looking to do stuff, more things. So, like I've already finished up like my first audiobook, which hopefully gets published here pretty soon. So
that's cool.
And I'm going to be doing another one as well. So that's kind of cool. There's a project in which I'm doing some audio dialogue for, like I mentioned before, that I can't mention the project or anything else about it, but the fact though that I was cast just based off a different interview somebody watched was pretty impressive. I was pretty much honored about that. So I'm working on that. There was this one project, it was called The World Mission. I can talk about this for some of it. Basically, I play the director of Central Intelligence, and it's going to be an international film, actually. So probably filming next year once COVID.
Oh, wow.
But depending how that works out. So, yeah, I'm pretty psyched about that. Yeah. So, yeah, there's always things coming up. You just got to, keep plugging away, do the daily hustle, and at the same time, congratulate your fellow, actors that are booking stuff out there, depending on where they are and what they're doing, because there is no direct path to this business, to get where you want to go. It's different for everybody, and everyone's got their unique talents, what they can do. And you just have to go with that, and hope for the best.
Well, see, and that's the thing. And also, I gotta say, like, being on the Mindless Morning Show is gonna really help. I mean, you're gonna be.
This will be the.
And I base that
stardom. Yeah.
I base that on absolutely nothing, but it can happen. It can happen.
It sure can. Yeah.
I mean, we are on IMDb now, so.
We are. Yes.
You can add that credit.
That says a lot, actually. So good for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I wanted to know.
You hear that, Mom? Sorry.
Your mom doesn't care.
My mom doesn't.
I wanted to know, because we kind of mentioned drones a few times, and it brought me back to one question I had is if there are any at the moment, or at least plans to have any type of like manless helicopters. So like basically a giant fucking drone.
Oh, are there? Oh, I wouldn't doubt it. I would be a little bit leery of flying an unmanned aircraft, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be a little hesitant about an unmanned vehicle at this point, just on the ground, per se, with a lot of the stuff going on. I mean, it's still in its infancy stage as far as I'm concerned. They're still working the bugs out of it, so I'd say give it maybe 5-10 years. But I mean, I wouldn't doubt at some point that we'll have it like a sci-fi movie, basically.
Yeah, I would think so.
Like the Tesla of helicopters, like you wouldn't let it self-fly.
Yeah.
I definitely won't be the test pilot for it, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I wouldn't test anything. I don't care too much to be the lab rat. I gotta say.
No.
It doesn't sound fun.
No, hell no.
Who were your?
Go ahead, Josh.
Or if you had any, after you got into like acting and whatnot, who did you look upon as your influences to kind of help guide you?
That's a good question. Well, I have to say, of all the actors out there that although I've never met him, I would love to work with him one day, would be Denzel Washington, personally. I've just watched his stuff. I watched YouTube videos with him in there, his interviews, and he's just incredible. He's a true profession to the craft, and he doesn't really make a bad movie ever. I mean, something comes out and you just got to watch it.
Yeah.
He sucks you right in, and you feel like you're there. So, and I think one of my favorites with him is when he played the Equalizer. It's just his character was just so spot on. It's just like, wow, that's just incredible. I mean, having that confidence, I mean, it's great that he had that fighting style, fighting confidence, but he didn't use it just whenever, he just decided that when it was necessary, and you didn't mess with him, and he was a very smart guy. But I watched an interview he did on YouTube several weeks ago, and this was basically when he was first starting out. He said, he received this casting call for this project, and I forget what it was called, something kind of derogatory about African American males. And he read the script. He's like, man, this doesn't sound very cool. And I guess at that time he was friends with Sidney Poitier, so he gave him a call and said, hey, dude, this is what's going on. And the advice that he was given was like, if you don't feel right doing it, then don't do it. Regardless how much they're going to pay you. If you can't sleep at night after the fact that it's not worth it, just pass on it and find something else, which he did. He passed it and went on something else. And whatever else he took next was like his springboard to stardom. And he was like paid double or triple the amount for that previous project. So it just goes to show you that, whatever's in your guts, what you got to stick with, because I know I fall in this trap, and a lot of new actors do. It's like anything that comes your way, like, oh wow, someone's interested in me. Sure, let me take this. Let me take it. Right. And do it. And it's just you get to a point after a while. It's like, well, that doesn't sit right with me. And there's certain characters I would never play, no matter how much they paid me. Just a matter of principle. So you just got to stick to your guns, and you just do what's right for you. And if it works out, great. If not, hey, at least I know I can sleep at night knowing that I made the right choice. So
exactly.
I gotta say, I really admire that answer just because of the fact that I really don't feel like Denzel is ever really mentioned as much, like in comparison to all the other A-list celebrities, and he's done so many fucking incredible films.
That's because he doesn't have any of the crazy freaking
he doesn't have drama.
Handles.
So because he's too clean. He's too clean. So I mean that's really, really good. But I'm trying to think of like all the roles I know of his off the top of my head, and I feel like a majority of them are pretty like serious roles, like where he's just a straight up fucking badass, and I feel like that's what you go for too, like. Which, I mean, rightfully so.
It makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, the top of the list is probably, cop or detective. I can definitely pull those off. Military, that goes without saying, which I really haven't had a bunch of military roles, which is odd. But that's another thing. And then, of course, father, husband, or dad falls into it as well. So
yeah.
I mean, I can play a mean guy. I can play a nice, charismatic guy. Either way, it's fine by me. So I'm always open for just about anything, for the most part. So
yeah. Well, we had Denzel on last month, and he cussed out Josh something huge. Like it was.
He probably deserved it.
He did. Probably. He did. So Steve, go ahead and cuss out Josh. No, I'm just playing.
Damn it! Now I forgot what I was going to say.
I'm sorry. With my just bullshit. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it.
Total bullshit.
Like no substance at all in what I was saying, but
so
it is what it is.
If there was like before I asked this, now I remember what I was going to ask, or rather say, because you had mentioned it was kind of weird that you haven't gotten like a military role. And do you feel that Hollywood definitely portrays military as like something totally different from what it really actually is?
That is good.
Maybe yes and no could be that answer. I do know that, whenever I watch a show with military, a sub theme, whatever else into it, that I get particular with it because being former military, it's like, you want to see as much accuracy as possible. But in reality, though, they can't be completely accurate, especially with uniform stuff, because if they did, then they would be like impersonating, an actual soldier or whatever, and so they can't do that. So you'll see oftentimes, uniforms are incorrect with their badges or how they're worn. If they wear a beret, it's not on right, stuff like that. So it's not because the tech didn't do it right, it's because they actually have to be wrong in some aspect of it. So that's something that I have to understand and deal with. But sometimes the military gets a bad rap, I think, in movies and stuff. A lot of times it's like they come in, they try to like take control, or there's a very evil, agenda behind them that they don't come out with at first until the very end. It's like, so it's like, come on.
Okay.
But that's kind of what I see sometimes. But
that makes sense.
All right.
The thing is, it's Hollywood, so if it's not drama, then people aren't going to watch boring stuff.
Well, it's the same thing with helicopters. I'm sure you're watching a movie and you're like, "Oh my God, no!"
Don't get me started. Yeah. God. I was watching. God, what was it with Dwayne Johnson, The Rock? It was San Andreas.
Was it? Oh yeah.
Oh my God. I had to shake my head and laugh so many times. I'm like, come on. And there's some things I had to research to see if it was actually real. And I mean, some of it is real to a point, but of course, Hollywood always exaggerates stuff, and it's just Hollywood, you know. I mean, so they got to do what they got to do. So, but yeah, a lot of that stuff. I mean, obviously, it's either green screen or it's Hollywood, and they just make it look like it's wow and everything. So I mean, it's good entertainment. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm not going to dog him too much, but it's like
it's just funny. It's because knowing what you know, it's funny, and
yes.
It's similar with me. I'm a plumber, and so whenever I see Josh, shut up. That's why I said it so fast. I bring it up every episode, but it's always in context, Josh. That's what you don't understand.
Anyways, just threw it in there.
Well, yeah, but it's because I see it in movies, and I'm like, wow, oh my God, water is just blowing out the bottom of the. Okay, well, it's funny for me.
It's the same thing with people that are in the medical field. I mean, you watch medical shows, and like my wife, she's a nurse practitioner, and she'll see these ER shows, and she'll within like 5 seconds start shaking her head like, that doesn't happen that way, But of course, that's the way it's going on. So
actually, that would kill him.
Since your wife is a nurse, do you find that she's like super interested to like those murder shows?
She is actually.
It's like they look for fucking patients. It's weird.
Josh's wife is the same way.
Yeah, and if I were to ever disappear, I always tell everybody it's got to be her because she watches those like had the wife killed the husband or vice versa.
Well, on the other side of that coin, she says if she ever came up missing, that she tells her the kids that I should be the one that be looked at first if she ever goes away. So I'm like,
you can fly the body like out to jungle, so,
right, exactly.
Nobody would know.
Sure. No,
that's so true.
So, one of the other questions I was going to ask is, what would you say is your like top sought out role? Like, what would be your ideal role that you absolutely want to have?
General.
Yeah. It would have to be, I guess, like a really gritty government spy thriller, essentially, not like James Bond per se, but just something that's so intriguing, where there's just some kind of crime that's committed, or, you're that guy that's the investigator or whatever, but some kind of government spy or government cover-up type deal, and I'm the guy that's got to uncover it somehow, and it's like I'm just like a seasoned investigator or something like that, and there's just I'm always like walking that fine line between doing what's right and what you shouldn't be doing, whatever else, and just like come on. But yeah, those have always intrigued me, so I would definitely love to have that.
I could see you.
You have the look for it.
Yeah,
automatically.
Easily, you could be like the James Bond / Chuck Norris of a government spy. I think you could.
Actually, I would love to play like a Jack Ryan role from a Tom Clancy movie. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I would be so much more happier just to see you play Jack Ryan, because watching somebody who I've watched for so long sit in a fucking office trying to chase a girl named Pam play as Jack Ryan did not sell it for me whatsoever. I almost couldn't even watch it. I stopped because I was like,
we never even did.
Go back to the office.
We never even did watch it. We were on Hulu or Amazon. We were looking at it, and we're like, I just can't buy it, and we didn't even watch it because of that.
I had to give it a try because I still respect him, and I can't. It's not the same.
I mean, I recently watched one with where Chris Pine was playing Jack Ryan, and I mean, he did it well. Don't get me wrong, but it's there's just Jack Ryan is a certain character, certain person, whatever else, and I don't know. It's just it was entertaining, I guess, per se, but.
So probably the big question Hollywood would really want to know when hiring you is, are you going to do your own stunts?
Ooh.
I would like to do as much as my own as I could.
It would depend. It would depend on the stunt.
Well, it would, yeah. I mean, I think, for insurance purposes, they only let you do so much because they wouldn't want you to get hurt, per se.
Unless you're Jackie Chan.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. That's what I was thinking too. Yeah. But I think a lot of that Denzel close combat type of fighting, that would be awesome. And, when it's done really well, where it's not like I know it's all choreographed, but to a point where it just looks so real and natural that
good flow.
Good flow, and those are hard to come by. There was a movie I was watching on Netflix called The Old Guard. What's her name was in there? Can't think of it right now, off the top of my head. Great actress, Charlize Theron. She was in there, the star, and tell you, the fight scenes that were in that movie were just incredible. I mean, when she was in the plane with that one girl and they just did some basic stuff, whatever else. But I mean, it looked so realistic, because each one got a good hit in at one point. It wasn't just the main star that was able to defend herself and never get hit once. She got hit. Oh yeah. And then, there was of course at the end, I mean, she just knew how to fight. But when I read some of the background behind that, I mean, she spent like, I don't know how many days, like 8 to 12-hour days, just learning different styles of martial arts. I mean, over and over and over again to make it look just like it was second nature to her. That's a lot of work, but yes, she pulled it off flawlessly. I was like, I got to commend her for this. She did really, really well.
Well, now I'm going to have to watch it. I had seen a trailer for it, and I love the concept of like the secret agents with like ancient history and kind of like some mystical kind of shit. So I was like,
it is. Yeah, it's kind of mystical, but the fight scenes are just really, really good. And I mean, if they come out with a sequel, I'd watch it. They kind of, I won't give it away, but we'll see what happens.
So what is your all-time favorite film?
Oh, God.
Oh, that's tough, dude. Especially if you're asking.
Yeah, no, I know, but I just want to see.
Josh.
Honestly, I think I always have to go with Russell Crowe and Gladiator.
Okay. When
that comes on, it's like I'm like, whatever else I planned for the day, if it wasn't too important, I'm like, all right, everything else is just gonna have to wait because now I got sucked in because it's just really such a great movie.
Are you not entertained?
Oh, that is awesome. But I'll tell you, he's been in a movie recently called Unhinged. I'm not sure if you've heard about it yet. He plays this guy who's, I'm assuming, about to be divorced, and he just does not take it well. And let's just say that the movie centers around road rage to like the ultimate extreme level. And he does things that you're like, oh my God, you weren't expecting. And there's just one part in the movie where there's this woman and her kid in the car, and they kind of upset him a little bit. And so he was trying to talk some reason into her. Well, she didn't want to hear it because, he was a stranger basically.
Right.
And he's like, well, I'm just having a bad day. She goes, mister, we're all having a bad day. And you see this trigger in his eye, like, oh, really? And he's like, oh, you think you're having a bad day? You haven't seen nothing yet. You're going to see a bad day. And he gives her the bad day from hell. I mean, it's incredible. Wow. It's like, wow, it's worth watching.
Dang.
Right. It's crazy.
I want to see that.
It's crazy.
I like
Nick
that type of.
Yeah, you're a big fan of the action stuff. You don't watch much of anything else. So
my wife and I, we like to watch like the medieval war shit and like people getting their heads cut. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's something wrong with me. But we do like comedies too. I mean, we watch a lot of comedies, and that's one thing that I'd like to ask Steve here. Like, I want to imagine somebody gives you a role where they're like, okay, I'm just thinking this on top of my head. You're a guy that plays in like kids' parties, and you dress up like a clown, and you have to dress up like a princess in one scene, or like really weird crap that just takes you all over these roles. You're like, that's not something I would have thought to do. Like,
well, I mean, I guess depending on the movie, I mean, a key to being a good actor is improvisation, and being able to just do it on the fly, whatever else, because that way your imagination can run wild with you and stuff. So, and it makes you become vulnerable. So
it'd be a good test.
I think, once you can let go of any, inhibitions you have, basically, and if you want to roll with that, then, hey, if the director likes it, great, but I think if it was just for some, cheesy, bottom basement flick, not so much. But
no.
if there was some substance to the plot or whatever else, then I would maybe consider it.
Like a movie idea where there's like a balloon, make balloon animals and stuff for kids, but then you see something crazy happen and you like bust out all this badass secret agent shit that you did before.
Yeah. I'm sure that's a concept that's been floated by somebody.
Oh, I'm sure. Bozo the Clown, rated R.
I mean, I'd probably watch a movie that like had the little plot summary of like a children's party clown turns into double DA agent or something, like just like goes ham or some shit, like just destroys people.
That sounds like a comedy for sure. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like John Wick kind of sounds like a comedy to me. Like somebody hurts.
That is like my second favorite movie is John Wick. I have to say.
John Wick is awesome.
So I'm not gonna lie.
Awesome.
I have yet to see it.
Oh,
dude,
see it.
You've got to see that.
You got to see it, Josh.
Everyone tells me, and I know.
Steve, go ahead and cuss him out now. It's okay.
No.
It's the thing of where like I saw so much like just gunfiring and like you say, when you watch these movies, like you know what's possible. I've shot many guns, and I know like a lot of that shit ain't happened. Now I know he is in real life a very good shooter. Like he does go to practice. And he does really well. But in the movies, it's just so.
Well, I mean, there's a lot that goes into those kind of scenes. I mean, if you watch the behind the scenes, I watch, on USA, they have all these like behind the scenes with this stuff. And he goes on there, he talks about, how the scene played out, how much time it took and blah, blah, blah. And I think it was the first one, where he's in the club that's got the Red Circle Club. I think is what it was. And, he's in that shootout with all the bodyguards in there and stuff like that. He said they took like 3 or 4 like 12-hour nights in a row of shooting that scene. That's how intense it was. So, I mean, it played out in probably like 5 or 10 minutes, on the screen perhaps. But yeah, can you imagine 3 or 4 nights of 12-hour days, of doing that? I mean, it's crazy.
I would want to pull my hair out.
Have you ever seen Old Dogs with Josh Brolin?
Old Dogs, no. Now he's a good actor too.
It was like a remake of like an older, I think, Chinese film. Where they kind of they're like a service. They capture people and kind of keep them hostage and then randomly release them. And he wanted to find out all about it. So it was a very, very like good movie, a twisted fucking movie, and it certainly it had a lot of good action. There were some scenes that were like, okay, whatever, but there's definitely some good fight scenes.
Well, y'all want to talk about crazy realism and not realism when it comes to guns and gunplay. What was that movie where they would bend the trajectory of the bullet?
Oh yeah,
with Angelina Jolie.
Salt.
Yeah.
Salt.
No, it wasn't Salt.
No, it wasn't Salt.
No, it wasn't Salt. No.
I don't remember the title, but I would know it if I heard it. But y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it was Morgan Freeman was in it too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm almost I was almost certain it was
in the bullet.
Yeah, I can't remember. I mean, it was cheesy, but I mean, it was entertaining.
Oh yeah, and that's what it's all about, really.
I remember Josh Brolin being in Sicario. I like that one, the first Sicario that came out. He played the government agent with, I can't think of the actor's name now, the Hispanic guy. But he did really well. He was an assassin, essentially, the Hispanic guy was. But the movie was called Sicario, and they were trying to track down a drug kingpin, I think it was, or something like that. And but he just played his role very well as a government agent guy, very no nonsense and very direct, and you just kind of never knew what he was thinking or where he was coming from until the last minute. So that's what I kind of liked about him as well. So
yeah,
I could definitely see you being some kind of badass in a Deadpool movie. I think you can handle like the little bit of comedy with the badassery.
I would think the next villain of Deadpool would be a good fit. Like, not saying that you look like a bad person.
That's what reminded me, because Josh Brolin, he played Cable.
Yeah,
So I started thinking to myself, I was like, you know what?
Like, I would say you would have some crazy ass superpower that would just demolish Deadpool, but you're like, funny about it, but at the same time, you're supposed to be the bad guy, but almost like Heath Ledger and the Joker. Everyone liked him way more than Batman. Way more.
Yeah, he definitely took Joker to a new level, that's for sure, that character.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what made it so great though,
I agree.
So I gotta ask, this is something a little off topic here, but I had noticed in your profile here.
We don't do that here.
Well, yeah. It kind of mentioned that you're a consummate professional looking to network / collaborate on future projects. So I was curious, because you said your wife. So are you looking to collaborate with future women for projects? You're a consummate professional?
Oh, no. Very well played. That was good. Yeah. No, when it becomes like having a female co-star, it's like, romantic comedy would be fine, but nothing to the point of like where there's, sex scenes per se and stuff like that. It's the whole, there's, looks like there's something there implied type stuff, but that's about it because I just wouldn't feel right. So some guys would, but not me.
I wouldn't either.
Yeah, that is one thing I always looked at, like acting or like just movies and TV shows, and I was like, aren't they married to somebody?
Yeah.
Why are they doing that?
Especially in like Game of Thrones, you're like, oh, jeez.
Aren't they brothers and sisters?
Well, yeah, that's part of it.
Yeah.
Jeez, yeah.
And that's one thing about like fantasy type series with like a knights and dragons and magic. I feel like
there's a lot of that.
I know, and it's really entertaining and really awesome, and I enjoy those movies a lot. But when you think about it, like behind the scenes, it's got to be so weird for the actor or actress doing like this stuff, like when there's nothing happening when they're doing it because they put it all in After Effects and stuff.
Right.
So the actor is like doing all of this weird stuff, and they're saying like fake languages and stuff, and I'm just thinking to myself like,
I have always found it funny, especially during Game of Thrones, like all the brothel scenes, they have these drop dead gorgeous women, like completely naked, whatever. And it doesn't matter how good they may have looked in the Middle Ages, they didn't have the proper hygiene or anything like that. The bitches smell, bro. Like, and all the men that they're doing, they're not these like handsome ass like knights that you see on TV. They are like all Robert Baratheons just slobbering and sweating on these women. So like those brothels, totally overplayed.
Yeah, well, Hollywood, right?
Yeah,
right.
Well,
Hollywood TV. Yeah.
The Steve Hamm brothels. There you go.
Oh God. Let's not go there.
I'll tell you what, man. I think you would blow up if with all the workouts you do and stuff. You did some like naked photo shoots or like a movie scene.
Yeah.
Oh my God. God damn it, Josh. What are you talking?
Listen, we have tons of women listeners. I have to appease them as well. And I know for a fact they would love to see that.
Okay.
Sure, yeah.
Oh,
no.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I like working out. I like staying in shape. It keeps me sane from everything else in life. So that's pretty much why I do it. And
absolutely.
Now I have the time to kind of, focus on that as well as a lot of other things too. So I like my schedule I have when I'm off of work, and working out can be incorporated in there, so that's good. And more people should probably get into it as well, especially with the whole pandemic thing going on. And once their gyms start opening up or whatever, do what you can, stay healthy.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So that's my little pitch.
Oh yeah, I'm rocking the dad bod here. And, it's quite a gut.
Yeah, it's not doing you any favors, bro.
It's the only favor it does do me is it holds my bowl of like cereal and stuff while I'm just kidding. It's like a personal table. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
it's not that big.
All right, we're gonna take the shortest of shortest breaks, and we're gonna be right back, guys. So hold on one quick second.
Thank you for staying tuned in to the Mindless Morning Show. We hope you're enjoying another fun-filled episode and would love to hear from you. If you're listening, be sure to follow us and leave a review. If you're on YouTube, please like, comment, subscribe, and click that notification bell to be alerted anytime a new episode drops. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your show.
Hey everybody, we are back and we are still here with Steve, and we're going to ask him just a couple of quick, stupid little questions that I came up with earlier today. And the first one is, do you ever bake anything?
Do I bake? Yes, actually I do.
Hey, cool.
I do. Yes, I do dabble in the culinary arts. Yeah, give me a recipe and I can follow it. But yeah, no, I don't mind doing some baking. It's fun.
What is your favorite thing to bake other than pot brownies? I'm just kidding.
Let's see. What do I like to bake? Probably like a pineapple upside down cake would be nice.
Oh shit, those aren't easy to make.
No,
that's hardcore.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah.
So okay. How do you think you would fare in a zombie apocalypse?
Oh, man, yeah. Well, let's see. With my once I gather my collection of appropriate firearms and stuff, I go on a killing spree. I'll tell you right now.
Oh, yeah.
Watching enough of zombie movies and stuff where, yeah, it's like no holds barred, no hesitation, one or two shots to the head, move on, whatever else, and carry that machete around as well, just in case, but yeah, and don't trust anyone but your family.
Honestly,
well, not only that,
I'm really amazed. I figured from a pilot, we would have gotten an answer of flying away somewhere safe. Well,
that's kind of where I was taking it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, in almost all of these movies, somebody's like, does anybody here know how to fly a chopper? You're like, yeah, I do.
Yeah, I guess that would be if I happen to find one, I probably would fly it away for sure. But in the meantime, until you find one, you have to fight your way through. So
that's true. When was the last time that you felt nervous, aside from before the show?
Oh God, probably before I got married. No.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No. Jeez. I'd say probably in time you go for an in-person audition, you definitely get nervous. It's just nerves that come over you, no matter how prepared you are for it. You just it's the unknown that gets you every time. But I think once you get in there, though, and just just show the confidence and everything's fine. But yeah, I think pre-audition jitters is probably what I'd have to say on that.
That's what I was kind of thinking as well when I asked, because I mean I can imagine trying to put myself in that and be like, oh. So I know you're gonna head out here pretty soon, but I want to ask you one more, and it's like a huge finale question. It's probably one of the biggest questions I've ever asked on the Mindless Morning Show.
Oh boy.
When's the last time you stepped in dog crap?
Actually, that was just a couple of hours ago. As a matter of fact, when I was walking my dog. Yeah.
Oh shit! Wait, are you being serious?
Yeah, I was serious. And
I can't tell.
I don't know. No.
He's a good actor.
He is a good actor. I can't tell if he's serious. You see the way he looked? He's like, I don't know. Was I serious? Oh shit!
Maybe not.
Man, we're never gonna know now.
Well, that is a good finale question.
But I do have a good finale things you didn't know about me type thing though. So yes. So even though I do fly helicopters and stuff, I am extremely afraid of heights.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, but you know what? No, I can believe that. Because
I can't. I wouldn't even think to fly a fucking helicopter or anything. I don't even like getting on a ladder.
Yeah, but think about it. He's in a machine and he controls it. And the type of person that I can see Steve is somebody's like, if I can control it, it's not as bad.
You just called him controlling.
You stole my thunder on that response. That's what I was going to say. Dang it.
No shit?
Yeah. That's it. I am in an enclosed space. I am strapped in. I am in control of what it does. I am fine. Put me in a roller coaster, though, and I start my hands start sweating,
Dude, okay.
Yeah.
I get it. I hate roller coasters.
It makes sense to me though. But then also with how I am, I'm the same. I'm afraid of heights as well. However, if I'm on an airplane, I'm okay. If I'm on a ride, I'm okay. But if I'm on a ladder, which I am very, very, very often, 10, 12-foot ladders, I don't like it. I mean, I do it because I have getting paid to do it. I have to do it, but I don't like it. So I'm almost the opposite, where if I'm in control, I'm not a big fan. But
I think as long as if there's like a safety line or something that's going to stop me from falling, then I'm probably fine. But if I'm just climbing on my own free will, I'm done basically.
Yeah.
So,
okay. So if you were on
Makes
like a
sense.
15-foot extension ladder up on a 30-foot roof, well, I guess I would say a 30-foot extension ladder.
I only need to be on a 6-foot ladder to be freaking out. A step stool even sometimes.
I don't like it. But with the machinery involved and all of the training involved, I can see somebody being afraid of heights, but that's different. I really can. I can see that.
Yeah.
So, Steve, it has been an absolute pleasure having you on, and I really hope the best for you, your acting career, because I really think it can take off. Certainly, it's just going to take that one role for you to really sell Hollywood on who you are.
Being on your show is gonna elevate that, so I appreciate
absolutely.
that.
He gets it. It's true. Yeah, we're growing, man.
We're gonna get you up there. We're gonna have you talking with Oprah real soon, and
yeah.
Wait a minute, hold on a second. I got Oprah calling real quick. Stand by.
Yeah, there you go.
And she's saying like, "Oh my God, you were on the Mindless Morning Show." Well, clearly you're legit. So here we go.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So is there any parting words you have for our listeners?
Parting words. Yes. Basically, no. Yeah.
No,
I never said no. I'm definitely a positive motivator kind of guy. So whatever your passions are, follow them. As much as you can, never give up. Keep a positive mindset with everything, no matter how many which they say or say. Just totally ignore them. Do your own thing, and life will be good. But never give up, and just keep on moving forward. It's all you can do, and great things will happen. Simply put.
Absolutely.
Very humble, very down to earth, and very talented. We certainly know that you can do it, and I know you can do it. So that's awesome. And I know we kind of started on this. I kind of want to end on it. I want to thank you again for your service, because what you've done is incredible.
Yeah,
what you still continue to do, saving lives, flying to save lives, is incredible.
It's a rewarding job to do that and get to fly still. So but if anyone's interested in looking at my stuff, though, you can go to my website, stevehamm2ms.org. It has everything on there. It has links to all my social media and stuff. So by all means, take a look, follow me, and that's about it, though. I appreciate all the support.
Absolutely. And next time you fly over my house, just come pick me up. So take me around.
Will do.
There you go. And just to reiterate, everybody, we're on every single platform: Spotify, Amazon, Google, YouTube, everything. Check the descriptions. Everything from Steve Hamm will be in writing in clickable links. So that way you can find him easy.
Absolutely.
And we will continuously help try to promote you and do everything that we can on our end for you. And
thanks, I appreciate that.
I love you.
I love you too.
All right.
John's just like, what the
I'm a little jealous over here. I don't know.
It's all right. John, I tell you I love you all the time, but I tell you in different ways.
I don't look as good as him though. God damn it! Like what the fuck?
That's what did it. That's what did it, man. I mean, I look at you and I'm like, train wreck. I look at Steve and I'm like, all right, okay.
No. I love you both. All right.
Oh, thank you, man. We love you too. We hope to have you back for sure.
I appreciate that. Thanks.
Have a great night, man. Thank you so much.
Stay mindless.
Stay mindless.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you guys for tuning into the Mindless Morning Show. We hope you enjoyed it, and we greatly appreciate you guys picking us out of the many great podcasts out there. Now go enjoy your mindless day.